Hi folks, welcome to another book haul. Never ends, does it? If you're wondering what the BTLT stands for in the title of this video, in the vinyl community, we have a concept called the VCLT, which is Vinyl Community Love Train. I don't know who coined the term, but it refers to when you receive or give free records to other members of the community, gratis, free. So thought in the booktube community that would equate to BTLT. I know, sounds like a sandwich rather than anything else. So this is a booktube love train. Because the books I've got here came to me in 3 little bundles from 2 booktubers. My old friend Kenny Howes, with his channel Kenny RH, who I've swapped books with before. He sent me some, and I've also had 2 little bundles from Jonathan at with a provocatively titled channel, Sci-Fi Scavenger. And excuse me, if you don't know why that's a provocative name, you haven't been watching Stephen Andrews' videos. Anyway, thank you to both to those 2. Go and watch their channels; they're excellent. So without further ado, let's see. I'll start with the books Jonathan sent me. I hope I haven't got these mixed. If I have, apologies to John and Kenny. Starting off with 2 more books for my Jack Vance collection. The first being The 5 Gold Bands. Lovely condition book. Thank you, Jonathan. This is originally printed in 1950 by Ace Books. This is a Granada edition from 1980s. Love that cover. Don't know. Oh yeah, the cover's by Bruno Eletori. Wonderful stuff. And the second one he sent me by Jack Vance is Slaves of the Clow. Again, brilliant cover. Lovely condition. This is a 1958 book from Ace Books originally, and this is a Coronet edition from 1980. I'm really going to have to get around to reading a Jack Vance book. He's been on my TBR, high on my TBR for a while now, and these are nice little slim books. Might be a good place to start. Another author that I'm getting quite a collection of is A. Van Vogt, an author I have read books by in the past and enjoyed quite well. And the first is Earth's Last Fortress. This one is a 1977 Sphere edition. It's got quite a complicated publishing history. It was originally published as The 3 Eyes of Evil in 1959. Far better title. Then in 1969, Ace changed the title to Earth's Last Fortress. Then when it was printed in Britain by Sidgwick and Jackson, it went back to The 3 Eyes of Evil. And then Sphere, that was 1973, and then in 1977, Sphere changed it back again to Earth's Last Fortress. I wish they wouldn't keep changing the names of science fiction books. It's confusing as hell. And to be honest, the original titles are usually better. Helps if you read the blurb. This actually, I think, contains 2 novellas. One is Earth's Last Fortress and the other is The Three Eyes of Evil. Yeah, but still, choose one and stick to it, please, publishers. And the other, with brilliant cover again, is The Undercover Aliens. Just checking with it. This was another one that's changed its name. Was originally published in 1950 as The House That Stood Still. Again, better title than The Undercover Aliens. And this is a 1980 reprint on Panther. Next up, an author I've really enjoyed in the past, and that's Fritz Leiber with this is a book of short stories, Ship of Shadows. First came across Leiber with his more horror-orientated books like Conjure Wife, and really enjoyed those. That's one I'm going to have to find somewhere. This one, excuse me, stories go back to the 60s and 70s, and this is a 1982 reprint by Granada. Excellent. Next, this is one I either had, or I might even still have it at the back of some shelf somewhere. But just in case, I thought I'd take this when offered. This is Larry Niven's The Flight of the Horse. This is again a short story collection. I love the covers on these editions of Larry Niven's work. They're superb. Again, these stories go back from the late 60s to the early 70s. And this is again a 1982 edition from Futura. Lovely condition as well. Next, I think Stephen Andrews showed a book by Robert Randall just recently in one of his videos. Robert Randall being the duo of Robert Silverberg and Randall Garrett. And this is The Dawning Light. Looks like it's an underwater story. Don't know. Anyway, this is from 1959, based on material that was in Astounding Science Fiction in 57. This is an Ace book from 1982. Moving forward a little bit in time, this is my first book, I think, by Charles Sheffield, Trader's World. Not an author I know a lot about. This is from, I think, 1988, this novel. It's a Del Rey American edition. Somebody was showing some Charles Sheffield a while back. Was it Matt at Science Fiction Reads? Can't really remember now, sorry. But nice to have another author in the collection to try out. With all of these, let me know if you know the books, the authors, any feedback, gratefully accepted. Jonathan then has also sent me some more modern works as well, and this is Golank's masterwork in the yellow spines. I prefer the yellow spines. Sorry, Kenny, to the original black spines, even if the black ones were numbered. This is Ian MacDonald's Desolation Road, story of Mars, from what I can see. This is from 1988. And obviously it's a 2020, I think, edition from Golank's. I read a short story recently in a collection by Ian MacDonald, and I remember really enjoying that, so expecting high things of this. And I was pleased to get this one as well from Jonathan. This is Old Man's War by John Scalzi, an author, a recent author that I've heard quite a bit of good stuff about. I've got one of his books, Red Shirts, which is, as everything is, in my TBR. I like the concept of that one, being it's about the unnamed cannon fodder, the red-shirted security officers that are on the away parties in Star Trek, and usually come to a bad end. So I thought that sounded like a great premise for a book. Anyway, this is, I think, his first novel, about a 75-year-old soldier, hence the Old Man's War. This is from 2005 and is a Tor edition. And continuing on with the more modern authors, we have two novels by Ken MacLeod. The first one being The Star Fraction. I've seen a lot. You always see these books in the bookshops by Ken MacLeod, but I've never read anything by him. I know he's highly rated. I think this was a runner-up for the Arthur C. Clarke Award. This goes back to 1995. It's a 2000 edition. And along with that, Jonathan sent this first contact novel by Ken MacLeod, Learning the World, which is from, bear with me, 2005, reprinted 2007. So again, I want to try more modern writers as well as the vintage ones. So the only problem is they tend to be quite chunky affairs, but hey ho. And talking of chunky affairs, the last two from Jonathan, Alistair Reynolds' Century Reign. I recently, about a month or two back, got a whole bundle of Alistair Reynolds books, very cheap price. But this wasn't in that bundle, so I was pleased to get it from Jonathan. Obviously, Alistair Reynolds, I think he's considered one of the top science fiction writers of space opera these days. Highly recommended by a lot of booktubers that like science fiction. I've just finished one of his books, which was just basically a novella, on short novel. It was okay. I enjoyed it, but I'm expecting more of one of his chunkier novels. This one is from 2004. It looks like it's a time travel story, but it says Century Reign is not just a time travel story, nor a tale of an alternate history. Part hard SF thriller, part interstellar adventure, part noir romance. So it covers quite a few bases. Sounds intriguing. And finally from Jonathan, an author I've never heard of, Nick Harkaway, Gnomon. Again, a good chunky book. This must be about 800 pages. No, 680 pages. This is described as a metaphysical epic. It sounds like It's to do with a near future Britain, which is a state in which citizens are constantly observed and democracy has reached a pinnacle of transparency. Every action is seen, every word is recorded, and the system has access to thoughts and memories, all in the name of providing the safest society in history. Sounds like a mix between 1984 and a technological thriller. Not looked this one up, so I don't know what sort of reviews it gets. Spectator liked it, so it'll be interesting. And then the books I got from Kenny. First up, the highly rated Thomas M. Dish, and this is On Wings of Song. This is a 1979 novel. This is 1981 Magnum edition. Like I say, it's highly rated. Winner of the 1980 John W. Campbell Memorial Award. Another one that I know is highly rated and won the Nebula is Alexei Panshin's Rite of Passage. Never read it, but as I say, I know this one is highly rated. Again, this seems like it's a bit of a fix-up. Portion of it appeared in substantially different form in the July 1963 issue of If, under the title Down to the Worlds of Men. First published in 1978, this is a Methuen. 19. You look at it and then you forget it. 1987 Methuen edition. The next one I've actually got. I mustn't have checked my spreadsheet that I keep of the books I've been binging on. And this is a book by Richard Wilson, not an author I'm au fait with. Time Out for Tomorrow. Well, luckily the edition I've got is a different one. This is a Mayflower Dell edition from 1967. This is a collection of short stories from the 50s. So I'm going to have to dig out my other edition, see what it's like, and get rid of one, or probably if they've both got nice covers and they're different editions, might keep both. Not that there's a space for them. And then the creme de la creme. I was so pleased to get these from Kenny. Like Kenny, I'm collecting the Door Yellow Spine, and some of the most difficult to get, or at least I can't find them, are the books by one of my favourite authors, Michael Moorcock. And Kenny sent me 3 of them, and in lovely condition with nice yellow spines, which is a plus, as they tend to fade pretty badly, the yellow spine door books. They're all Elric novels, which I've got all the Elric stories in the recent hardback reissues, but it's lovely to have these in. The first one is number 220 in the series, and it's The Sailor on the Seas of Fate, with a great cover from Michael Whelan. This is from 1967. 1976. Becoming dyslexic. Lovely cover. Brilliant to have. The second one is the third novel of Elric of Melniboné, and this is The Weird of the White Wolf, number 233 in the Door series, Yellow Spine series, again with a cover by Michael Whelan. And finally, The Bane of the Black Sword, the 5th novel of Elric, number 254 in the series. Superb. I was so pleased. Thank you, Kenny, so much for those. Look at that. Lovely spines on them. Nice and yellow. Excellent. Now, the title said BTLT Plus, and that's because I've got a couple of small bundles that I actually got off eBay that I wanted to add on here and show. First is a bundle of 3 anthologies that I'm currently trying to collect the full set of, and that's the New Writings of SF series. This is number 3. Now, because there's 3 in the bundle, I've actually got a copy of number 3 already, but this one is in a bit better condition, but it's a better cover than the other one. The other one's an earlier edition, but I wasn't too bothered about that. I preferred this cover, so I'm keeping this, and I've passed the other one on to Jonathan. This was a series of 30 books in total, edited by John Carnell, up to about, I think, number 22, I think, and then Kenneth Bulmer edited the rest. This one includes stories by Frederick Paul, Keith Roberts, James Schmitz, Colin Capp, among others. That's number 3. The next 2 were ones that were missing from my collection, and that's number 4. And this includes stories by Isaac Asimov, Colin Capp again, Dennis Etchison, who I know more as a horror author, Keith Roberts again, and William Tenn. And the 3rd one was the next to last in the series, number 29. Love the livery on this one. They're all in nice condition. And this one was a Kenneth Bulmer edited book. And you get Brian Aldiss, E.C. Tubb in here, Sherry Wilder, and 2 or 3 authors I'm not so au fait with. So like I said, there were 30 of these. I think I've got 27 now. I've got 3 missing. The first, number 1, the last, number 30, and number 7, I think, is the other one that I'm missing. But nice to get close to a complete set. And finally, a little bundle of 2 books by the great Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I love those covers on these books. This is The Ring of Thoth and When the World Screamed. And these are from John Murray paperbacks, which I've never heard of, but like I say, those covers are quite striking. And it looks like John Murray printed a whole slew of books by Doyle, including most of or all of the Sherlock Holmes stories. But I've never seen these editions before. I've got a 3-volume set of the weird stories of Arthur Conan Doyle. So probably I've got all of the stories that are in here, but couldn't turn down these, especially so pretty cheap, about £3 each. Lovely. Anyway, already gone on far too long. that's my latest little, well, not the latest haul, I'm afraid. The latest I'm showing. I've still got to show the big box of books that I got from Porcupine Books the other week. Anyway, I hope you're all having a great weekend, and let me know if you've read any of these books, please. Any feedback is gratefully accepted. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, take care. See you soon.